It is time for rapid fire. Is Andrew Luck is about to be eligible for the Hall of Fame? We all know what happened. How all of a sudden they leave the field for a preseason game or a practice or something like that. They come off. Andrew Luck hits the podium, announces he's retiring. Everybody's like, "Whoa!" I think that was a stunner, kind of the Magic Johnson one. Just like, whoa, what's going on? And the Michael Jordan retiring, like, just there's things like, I mean, he's not at their level, but still. But in your opinion, is Andrew Luck a Hall of Famer?
First of all, I think we were covering the Chargers preseason game when the news broke,
Yeah,
and we're like, "What the heck is going on?" Andrew Luck retired. So it was very shocking. Maybe not to the MJ level, the first Bulls retirement there, but I don't know. Like he's definitely going to be a first ballot, so there'll be some time to think about it, and it kind of makes me feel old that time has flown so here where he's about to be eligible too. So because it feels like yesterday
crazy.
when he retired. So maybe if I don't know if this is an unfair way to judge it. We like if he played a couple more years, he for sure would have been a Hall of Famer. Like this guy's talent was on a different planet when it comes to just the eyeball test there. And then he had a couple playoff runs. Maybe I don't know how far. Maybe he got one AFC title game appearance.
Yeah,
I think I
that
want
was
to
the
say
Deflate Gate.
that's right. There you go. And they got their ass whooped, and that's because of the cheating scandal
What?
there apparently. And he was just a good quarterback, and maybe he got a couple All Pros, maybe or definitely Pro Bowls, but I don't know. I say maybe after like a third or fourth year try, like with the Kurt, like maybe he could resemble to Kurt Warner where he didn't do it for as long, but the guy won a Super Bowl and made two Super Bowls and he won I want to say two MVPs. So like that resume speaks for itself a little bit. Andrew Luck does not have the accolades like that, so it's gonna be pretty tough. And I know I'm kind of giving you an answer, but I feel like he will get in eventually.
I don't think he will. I think he did some great stuff, but I just think it was complete. He had a game where I remember, I think it was his first or second year. The Chiefs were up like 24-3, or like they were up
Yeah.
a huge number on them, and he brought them back. He willed them up, and they won. He had some great comebacks. He had games where you thought, oh, he's going to go into. I remember he went into Kansas City one time and beat them in a playoff game. He went into Denver. He beat the Broncos one time. Like the dude was honestly magic, but at the same time, I just don't think he had a long enough resume for you to be like, oh yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. So I don't think he's gonna get into the Hall of Fame. Nor should he. I think, in my opinion, I don't think he did enough. But there were some cool moments from him, and I think he did some cool stuff. Gilbert, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won the home run derby.
That already
But
happened?
yep, but it had me thinking, which of these NFL quarterbacks who participated in batting practice in Toronto and Cincinnati this year would you pick for the home run derby? Joe Burr or Josh Allen?
I had no idea the home run derby occurred. I didn't know we were at the All-Star break, and I had no idea it was in Cincinnati. But
No, it's in Seattle. My bad.
oh, Seattle.
No, I'm
Okay.
saying they participated in their
Oh,
in
they're all on their like the
yeah, yeah,
softball
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I don't know. I've seen Joe Burrow, take a couple swings there, and he looked good. But I want to say Josh Allen because he's bigger, and he could probably get more dingers for being bigger. Yeah, go with Josh Allen.
I'm gonna go with Josh Allen as well. I just think that the dude is huge. I think he's a power hitter. I think he'd smash the crap out of that ball. And I think he was a better baseball player than Joe Burrow. So I'm gonna
Oh,
go with I think I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Gilbert, something or nothing. Bill Belichick is closer to breaking the record for most losses as an NFL coach than he is the record for most wins. I know
uh,
that'll piss off Dan and Dago.
yeah, I can't wait to hear your answer here. But like when you have the most Super Bowl titles and most wins, like and you coach for that long, eventually the loss are going to catch up. So I don't think it'll be an issue there. It'll be kind of a weird little wrinkle in history. But when you have the Super Bowl rings there, six, right? Because one went to Tom Brady by himself in Tampa Bay, so six for him, and I think it'll be okay.
How many does he have without Tom Brady as a head coach? No, I'm
Uh,
just kidding. No, no, no.
two with Bill
No,
Parcells.
no. I said
You know,
as
yeah.
a head coach. I
Yeah,
want to
my
see
bad.
his win-loss record without Tom Brady. That'd be
There
interesting to
you
see too. But no, I don't think it's anything. It's like you said, the losses are going to catch up with you at one point. Obviously, some of these head coaches they coach for years and years and years and won a lot of games. So obviously, the losses are going to catch up with you, like you said. I don't think it's anything. I think Bill Belichick obviously is his accolades speak for themselves. But yeah, definitely. I don't put any. It's not like it's going to harm him or anything, in my opinion. Gilbert, while we were on hiatus, 3 more players were suspended for making bets on NFL games: Isaiah Rodgers, Rashad Berry, and Demetrius Taylor. Should the NFL simply just not allow players to make bets on sports, or what should the league do to fix this issue?
Well, yeah. First of all, the rules are really complicated. Like you could bet on non-football games. You know, as long as you do it not at the facility, you could just be at the parking lot and make a bet. Like who's gonna read the fine print for that? Not me. So and then like I don't know. Like it's kind of weird. Like for the longest, they said, "Oh, shame on you. No, nobody should bet on sports, and we're gonna stay away from Vegas and this and that." And now everything is sponsored by all these betting places.
Yeah.
So and then like, of course you're gonna get a little murky there with the players, and you're gonna do a 1 year suspension for like something small for Calvin Ridley. So I don't know. Maybe just say no betting at all, but we'll profit everything here, or maybe get them a cut of the players of the freaking. I don't know, and that way don't bet, but you still make some money here because we're gonna sponsor. We all win here, so I don't know, but it just seems a very hypocritical. Can't even say it. Like a hypocrite. And by the way, I watched Ted Lasso, and there was that scene there with Jamie, where he's saying like, "Hey, I wasn't being ironic. I was being hypocritical." There you go. That made me
laugh. I don't know what they can do. I just really think that the NFL is being hypocritical, like you said, because I mean, you're making all this money off of the betting and off of all this stuff. The only thing is, I think one of the players bet on their team, like he bet on his own team to lose. Like, and like people started putting up videos where he missed tackles and stuff. And they're like, he probably said, "Oh yeah, no, I got a bet going," whoop, and missed it. But that's the thing is that it's going to be tough. You can't let them bet on the NFL because then, I mean, they could throw games, they could do stuff like that. Then when you get into it deep with the Sharks, what's going to happen? So that's why they don't let the NFL refs hang out in Vegas. They have to be flown in the same. I think they're flown in the same day to Vegas. They do their thing and then they fly out the same night.
I had no idea. Wow.
I believe I read somewhere that they do that. So I don't know what they can do. I just think that this is hypocritical, and like you said, maybe they can get a cut from that too. But I just don't see the NFL giving up any of their money. Gilbert, Elly de la Cruz, he's a outstanding rookie outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds. I've seen him play a couple of times. He's really explosive. He stole 3 bases in 1 inning. What would be the equivalent of that in the NFL? Can I go first on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was like Asante Samuel Jr.'s 3 interceptions against the Jaguars in like a quarter and a half. Maybe that's the equivalent to it. I think that would be kind of the one thing. Like I remember he had those interceptions in like, I think it was like 1 quarter had gone by, and then I think 2 or 3 minutes went off of the second quarter, and he had 3 picks already. So I think that to me that's kind of the equivalent. I don't know what you think because it was all 3 in 1 inning.
That's pretty wild. But
yeah,
I'll put it this way. I feel like interceptions are more valuable than sitting on the base in baseball. I feel like an interception could be like a double or a triple. Like they're pretty good. It's not a home run, but I'll say a double. So for me, I will go scoring maybe like 3 2-point conversions in 1/2 or 1 quarter. Like they mean something, but whatever. Actually, I feel like 2-pointers are way more valuable than bases. Now I think about it. But okay, so maybe that's not it. But 2-pointers are very rare to kind of get just one or 2 or 3. So maybe I'll go with that one. But it has to be something where like, maybe it's like a yards thing, right? That kind of just helps you out, or an onside kick or something like that.
There you go. Gilbert, there have been photos circulating of parking in Seattle for the home run derby being as high as $120. What's the most money you're willing to pay to attend an event?
This reminds me because
are we talking about parking or the event as a whole? Parking, just parking.
Parking. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. But real quick on a side story, I was in Vegas, and I took my brother that you met him for the first time, Luis. Shout out to Luis. Like, cool. Yeah, in Vegas you kind of do other things.
I think I was explaining 90s movies to him, and I felt so bad because I just went on a tangent on 90s movies.
Sounded like an old guy, but in Vegas you kind of forget about water. You drink other things, so we needed to get water, and I'm like, I'm pretty lazy. I'm getting tired, so I was already in a casino. And shame on me, right? NFL. I was in a casino, and I'm like, what? I'm just gonna get water right here. I don't want to stop. I just want to go take a nap. And that 3 water bottles, I kid you not, almost $20. Like, what the hell are we doing here? I felt like I was getting ripped off. But for parking, if I'm really in a pinch here, I think the most I will do is like $40 to $50. After that, I don't care what it is. I'm gonna find a different way.
By the way, your brother, we were watching Ocean's 11 and he goes, "Oh, he played Batman, right?" I was like, "Oh, no, sir. You shouldn't remember him playing Batman. George Clooney was a terrible
George Clooney.
Batman. Get that out of your head." And then he just starts laughing. Um, I don't know, dude. Because of the media thing, I'm cheap now. Like, even last year when I was in my Bad Bunny seats, I'm like, why am I with the commoners? I want to be up in the booth. Like, I hate being here. So, uh, uh mm, ah, I'll go with you, 40 or $50 for parking. I think that's the most, and everybody in the car is gonna split it as well. So
Yeah.
I ain't paying it by myself. So but that's probably the most I do too. Remember SoFi? It's like $100 at times. Like, no, hell no. By the way, quick story. A couple of years ago, the Chargers played the Cowboys at in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. I'm rolling, right? Or I'm in an Uber. Nick Hamilton and I were in an Uber, and we're driving, and we see a guy just chilling there in a Walmart. No, in a little parking lot. It was sort of empty, but he was charging $60. Everywhere else was charging 100 a park. He was charging 60. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cool thing. So next morning, I'm at the airport ready to go. I pick up a newspaper and I read it on the plane right back. That guy had been arrested because that wasn't a legal operation. He would sit there for years on end. I guess he had done it for 3 or 4 years. He would sit there, he'd charge people, but it was just an empty parking lot because none of those people would open their stores that day. So it was just an empty parking lot that he'd go in and he'd charge people and he'd pocket the money. He'd pick up his sign and he'd leave. And that was it. And I guess the cops caught him that day, and arrested him. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that guy was a genius. Imagine doing that for so many years. I mean, eventually you're gonna get caught, but I thought that was the funniest.
After a while, like just take your win and stop doing it.
I know. I was like, dude, that's such a. He would charge $60, and they said that his parking lot was always packed, no matter what. Wow. And I was like, dude, I
wonder if he took it seriously. Like, he actually watched the cars and made sure everything was okay. And
I mean, you would kind of hope so, but regardless, it was hilarious to see to hear something like that. I'm totally all for that.